Things have not been getting any easier for me. What I had to get next were a bird and its fertile eggs. The only place I could think of near me where I could get those things was a nearby farm. I knew this would be more dangerous than my last two ventures. The reason being that when it comes to the farmers in my area, their method of dealing with intruders tends to be a lot more gun-oriented. I inquired about something from the children, namely, if they can possess someone, why do they need me? They replied they can only do those things with a mortal anchor, which I became by allowing them into my home. Apparently, it's forged some kind of spiritual link between us, or something along those lines. I take this to mean I need to sever this connection. Anyway, I drove up to the farm and parked in the woods. I brought two things to help me: a burlap bag and an empty egg carton. I got out of my car and took a deep breath, then did some stretches to loosen my body. Once that was down, I began jogging up to the farm. I located the chicken coop. My plan was pretty straightforward. It was to put a chicken in the sack and put her eggs in the carton. The coast seemed clear when I reached the coop. I was making sure to be quiet so they didn't wake up or give me away. There was one thing I didn't count on, though: the farm dog. In my defense, I thought it'd be asleep as well. I was wrong. Grabbing the chicken and her eggs wasn't the issue. That was until I stepped out of the coop. I heard loud barking when I did. I turned to see the silhouette of a Rottweiler standing on the porch of the farmer's house. I tried running, but it was only moments later when I heard a loud boom and saw one of the branches of the tree in front of me snap off. I cursed and dove behind the tree. By this time the chicken had woken up and was freaking out. I knew it would only be a matter of time until she ripped through the bag. With that in mind, I made an attempt at escaping. I failed miserably. I thought I could lose him by making my way between some animal pens under the cover of darkness. When I reached the other side of them, though, I was hit square in the face with a shovel. I woke sometimes later from a cold splash of water to find myself tied to a chair in a barn. The farmer, along with his wife who held the chicken, was glaring down at me. "Look who's awake," the farmer said. "You thought you could get away with stealing one of our prized chicken and her eggs?" his wife asked. "No," I groggily replied. "I mean, I did, but I needed them." "Look, if you let me go, I can pay you for them." "All right," the farmer replied. "If you pay us a decent amount, we'll let you go. How much you got on you?" Even though I was tied up, I could still access my pockets. It was when I reached into my pockets, however, that I realized that I had left my wallet at home. "Well, this is awkward," I nervously chuckled. "How about I pay you later?" "Get the saw," the farmer told his wife. "Chomper's gonna have some good eating." "No, please," I begged. "I have kids waiting for me." "That's what they all say." "Wait, what? How many times has something like this happened here?" 11. Every sorry motherfucker who thought they could come into our farm and take what's ours, we chopped up and fed to our dogs and pigs. His wife went to the corner and got the saw. "I'll cut off his arms. You cut off his legs," he said, taking it from her. He approached me with the saw raised. Before he was able to use it on me, however, a noise like thunder was audible from outside, getting steadily louder. The farmer dismissed this as an oncoming storm until he and his wife realized that whatever was making it was rapidly approaching the barn. It slammed into the side of the barn, making it shake. The farmer yelled for his wife to grab her shotgun, and he grabbed his. They turned to fire at what was trying to break into the barn, but they were too late. Through the wall came the horses, followed by the cows, and lastly the pigs in a stampede. Although they managed to fire off a couple of shots and hit some of the horses, their efforts were ultimately fruitless. They were trampled right before my eyes. The sound of their crunching bones could be heard over the running animals. I saw the farmer and his wife's head get caved in under their weight. Unlike last night, though, I didn't throw up. I guess what that means is I'm getting used to this kind of stuff, so silver lining? In the chaos of the stampede, the saw ended up being knocked towards me. It took some maneuvering on my part, but I was able to tip the chair over and reach the saw. Once I freed myself, I got up and went to get another chicken and her eggs. I would have grabbed a bag to put the chicken in, however, the barn started to collapse because of all the damage the animals did to it. I didn't have time to grab anything before I left. When I got outside, I saw that the chickens were running around. I spotted their coop, which was knocked over. I went over to it and grabbed some eggs, then put them in a bucket. As I did, I noticed the animals coming back by. They didn't seem panicked this time. In their mouths, they held the corpses of the farmer and his wife. Both of them were taken to the pig trough. The pigs were eager to follow the other animals. Even though I didn't see where they were taken, I was pretty sure of what the remains could be used for. Once I was done getting more eggs, I grabbed the chicken that was roaming around. Keep in mind, I no longer had the sack I brought, and she didn't react well to me picking her up. It was immediately met with rapid pecking to my hands and face. Somehow I was able to make it back to the car with both my eyes intact. I got inside and breathed a sigh of relief. "How long did I take?" I asked the kids. "A little over 20 minutes, Abraham replied. "And I take you guys are responsible for the farm animals freaking out?" "That is correct. Our influence reaches far," Louise said. "You know, you could have checked on me. If you would have possessed the farmers here, it would have saved me a lot of time. I'm pretty sure that bitch broke my nose." I looked in the mirror and noticed it was swollen. Truth be told, I didn't feel it back there. This was probably due to the adrenaline, but now that I was calmed down, it was starting to hurt. "We aren't here to do anything for you," Abraham said. "We're here to make sure you carry out each task. You should be thankful we lent you our help at all." I gave the kids a dirty look, then turned around and started my car. The chicken was letting out clucks of protest the entire trip home. When we went back inside, I handed her over to the kids. Oddly enough, she calmed down when they took hold of her. "What are you going to do to her?" I asked. "We aren't going to sacrifice her if that's what you're thinking," Louise said. "We'll be in the basement. Do not disturb us." I watched them go down into it with the chicken and her eggs. Once they were gone, I went to dress my injuries. Man, did that pecking hurt. I swear to God, I'm almost at my limit. I don't know how much more of this I can take, and I still have 2 days left. Help me.
Chronicler here. We here at Creepy Spaghet would like to thank RoseBlack2222 for allowing us to tell their story. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe to stay updated on releases. If you wish to help out the author, their Patreon is also linked. If you're interested in having your story narrated, be sure to reach out to our humble overseer as he continues his journey to pull the darkest stories from the infinite depths of the internet. Until next time, fiends, and remember, we are darkness.